we are seeing.
Okay.
What someone is feeling inside is some, like Madam rightly said, Ms. Councillor Nimna said, that you have to speak to the soul.
Okay.
You have to come back to the reality, talk to these people, get to understand why they are addicted to these substances. And when you talk of the prevention, you said the evidence is clear. We should invest in prevention.
Okay.
Take for instance, this awareness now, the Counseling Association of Nigeria FCT chapter is doing, is something that they want to prevent, because it is, as she pointed out, she said in almost every household in our country, Nigeria today, 1 or 2 persons are either going through one thing or the other that is making them to go into drug abuse. So now it is the time for every family to look beyond, oh, I provide food for them, I provide everything they need. Sometimes the kids, let's even start from the ages of 5. I have seen someone, a child of 8 years, around Abuja here, not even in the villages, within Abuja, in one of the satellite city, around Kuba axis, I saw this girl, a girl of 8, was smoking weed in the daytime. And these are drugs that are contraband. These are the things these are illicit substances that are not even supposed to be seen with by an adult.
Let
and
alone
the child
a kid.
is going on smoking. And when I approach, and the first thing he say, it is not your business. I say, where did you learn this from? He say, my dad is smoking, my mom is smoking, so I have to. I say, don't you think it is necessary for you to stop this? He said, even if I said I want to stop, because it's happening in my house, I cannot.
Yeah.
So these are some of the issues we have to go back to the family as a root. This awareness has to go beyond just this radio station, and the Counseling Association has been on its toe trying to see how they can impact the society to give back, because this is giving back.
Yeah.
The association is really trying by all means to see how we can bring or reduce drug illicit trafficking to the barest minimum. Some of these people even manufacture these drugs themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
We might think that these drugs are expensive, these children cannot afford it. It's a lie.
They have it.
I have had a client who confessed that he uses a lot of substances. I wouldn't want to mention these substances.
Of course we shouldn't.
Some persons will want to go and try them out. There are a lot of clients who are out there, who I have seen personally, who are out there, who have seen these issues, who have been using these substances, and they've confessed to it. And gradually, counseling has come to stay. The Nigerian Constitution is backing the Counseling Association now, and therefore it is very important. If you go to almost all the secondary schools that are owned by government in Abuja, I can only speak for
FCT.
that FCT under the ERC, Education Resource Center. You see that these schools have counselors, trained counselors, who are there to look at these children's mental health. And some of these things might be, if you go to the university, you will see a lot. You will see a lot, because a lot of these people are there studying courses they don't want to study. And then by the time they start failing, they start seeing carryovers, they start seeing the negative impact of the academic stress. They fall back to where? Drugs. They fall into depression. Some might even contemplate suicide. So this is deep. It's not, mental health goes beyond what we are talking. And it is from mental health that when you have issues with your mental health, that's when you start having issue of resorting to drugs.
Addiction.
It is something that a lot of people are addicted to these substances, and they don't know how to come out of it. How can you come out of it? That is why the Counseling Association is here.
Okay. All right. So much has been said. And yes, before we go on, let me remind us that we have been hanging out with oh no, I've been trying to get the name again, but anyways, they are from the Counseling Association here in Nigeria, and they've been talking about the prevention of the use of illicit drugs. Now, something that you said, you can prevent people from getting into the use of these substances and these drugs. In an instance where someone is dealing with grief, it's not something that we really prepare for. The loss of a loved one or family member or something is not something that, people actually do prepare for. So in such an instance, how do you think you can prevent such a person. In fact, just on Sunday, I was listening to someone talk about how they fell into the use of these illicit substances because they had lost a parent before and then they lost another one. So there was really no way out at this time and nobody to counsel them. So 2 questions I'm asking. How do you think someone can solve the problem by prevention, even when they don't prepare for these problems, Then secondly, how accessible are counselors? I've heard you say that they are in certain institutions, but the government is now supporting them. But how accessible are they?
Okay, like he rightly said, in FCT, especially in our FCT schools, we have well-established counseling departments that you can access them, and they're everywhere. Aside that, we have a counseling clinic that offers counseling services free. So the students or the victims can always be referred there at the Educational Resource Center. We have a counseling clinic. We have well-equipped counselors there at any time who will attend to them. We also have a lot of counselors who are into private practice. They're established. We have counseling clinics all over, especially in FCT. So they can always be referred there. And then the second question, like you said, nobody will willingly want to go into depression. Sometimes natural occurrences could lead you into that, and you think that the way out is drugs and all that. First of all, where we can prevent those occurrences, we should. Like he rightly said, I'll still come back to your question, your specific reference to the loss of loved ones. Aside that, talking about our youths today, they are the ones who are into it. We'll go back to see what is responsible, what leads them to it. That is what counseling is doing. It's not just say you are a victim, we need to help you solve the problem. We need to also go back and find out what really happened. There are so many. He mentioned some. Sometimes family background. Sometimes it's especially those in tertiary institutions. The major problem is academic pressure. Some of them find themselves in courses where that they didn't bargain for. Sometimes their parents force them. And we can't hide it. There's high rate of exam malpractices today. So a lot of students go into school ill-equipped for the courses. So they now hide under drugs. Now, talking of somebody who have lost a loved one and is going through that, that is inevitable.
Of course.
You need to understand that. Secondly, we should know by now, everybody should know that none has ever lived forever. None, including you who is grieving. You have your own time to go. So until we're able to have a talk with this, until you are able to understand that these things must happen. And it is not just ending there, it's a continuous thing. As long as you have loved ones with you and none will live forever, we will certainly go, including yourself who is grieving. So we go beyond just counseling the person who is involved already to the roots and the causes.
All right, people. These are representatives of Counseling Association of Nigeria's CASON, right? FCT chapter.
Yes.
And I have been hanging out with Unimna
Eukarya.
Eukarya. She is the chapter treasurer and Councillor Ochui Augustine as well. He's a member of the association. Thank you so much for being here. Now, let me ask, what is the place of professional counseling in curbing drug or disorder or use disorder, which cannot be overemphasized? Let's talk about it.
Okay, before I answer this question, we have grief counselors.
Okay.
Grief counselors.
That's good.
It's very important because it's someone who understands something that will be able
exactly.
to solve. Just like in medicine, you have people who specialize in other
surgery.
So now in counseling, we have people in mental health, drug disorder, drug use, grief therapy, family therapy, and a host of others. But now, to curb the use of drug, we have awareness.
Yes.
Awareness in fact, I cannot overemphasize this because it is always very important that we take this awareness to the grassroots, and that is why we are here today. Because even a common man on the streets is using a radio. The person who is on transit going somewhere else is listening to a radio. And here we are talking. Because a lot of people out there do not even know that there is what we call counseling. They don't even know that there is even an assistant. There is even where you can get help. For issue of privacy, there are professional counselors who have private clinics, just like private hospitals. There are government organizations that help you to in rehabilitation. I had a conversation with one NDLEA officer recently. It wasn't about, these people always arrest. The common impression about people is, they arrest people who do drugs. No, they arrest people who are trafficking drugs, drug barons, people who are selling these drugs. These are the people they are after, not the users. They are there to just help the users recover. These are some of the processes. But it comes with a fee. But if you think that, I want to come out of drug and I don't have the money, genuinely, you can actually visit the Counseling Association of Nigeria, where we have help free of charge for you. And if you want privacy, then you talk about the fee. You talk about the
is it affordable? Because
affordable.
You see memes online. They say if you go to the therapist, they're going to charge you so much. Just go and talk to Jesus, because it's true. Sometimes it's not so affordable. So how affordable are these services? Because it's one thing to create the awareness, like you have said. Some people don't know that they need counselors. Some people don't know that they need therapists. So creating this awareness helps them know. But it goes beyond knowing what you need. Say, for instance, I'm walking barefooted. I know that what I need right now is a shoe. Thank you for empowering me with the knowledge. What do I do afterwards? Because I might not have enough money to afford a shoe even at this time. So how affordable are these services? I think this is where the problem is at.
What you value.
If you start like that, it's actually expensive.
No, it's actually not expensive. But the question is that, is it really important? Is it really important? It's an illness of the mind. When you are sick physically, you go to the clinic.
Of course.
And you are being charged. Is that the challenge is that people don't really value counseling as it's supposed to be. So that is why there's no amount of money you can pay to be healed. When you are sick physically, you go to the hospital, whatever the medical doctor charges you, you pay. But the healing of the mind, I think, is even more it should be more encouraged. It's only when you are mentally well that you will be able to function well. You can have a malaria and you still go to work and you work. But when you are mentally ill, everything about you comes to a standstill. So the amounts here, in as much as the fees are not exorbitant, it's affordable, and we even offer free services. Like, we are not saying this that because you have, because we offer free services, you will now want to come free. No, if you value what it is, you should be able to pay for it. But I will assure you that the fees are not that exorbitant. But if it's worthwhile, you should try it.
All right. Thank you so much for that as well. Now, before we go on, I want to remind us that according to statistics, it says in 2017, the Southwest Zone had the highest prevalence of drug users at about 22.4%. And then the last used drugs were, we don't need to mention all the names of that. It says about 14.3 million individuals reportedly using drugs in the previous year. Now, a lot of them in the Northeast Zone, some of these drugs have been used. They say some 8.1% and some 6.5% were most frequently used. Now, Kano State has the highest prevalence of drug use with 16%, followed by Zamfara State at 13.5%, KB 12.6%, and Katsina State 12%. What are you doing as regards advocacy to reach out to these communities where drug abuse is most prevalent?
Okay, in Nigeria, Counseling Association, if from the name you know that it's not just in FCT, it's a national body that even has international recognition. So every state in Nigeria has a chapter, and they all have these centers where they offer these services. It now depends on the chapter now, just like the FCT are doing now. I think in Kano State or any other states are doing the same thing. I think.
You think? Or
Yes.
they are actually?
I think, but I'm speaking for FCT as it stands now because I'm in FCT,
chapter. Okay, so they ought to. Okay.
It's something that we should do. This is part of our community service that we are offering to the society. It's just like giving back to the society. Just like when you ask the question of the affordability and everything. I have personally, I have clients who comes to me sometimes when I tell them, oh, this is what I charge. At the end of the day, they will say, oh, I cannot afford it. I will do it for free for them because I know they need the help.
They need it.
They need this help. But because we cannot allow a human being to die, you are seeing someone dying and then you say, oh, because he doesn't.
You cannot.
But most of the times in our country, in our situation, you know that people don't always value what they have free.
Free, exactly. I agree.
That is it. So in every of these states, every chapter is expected to carry out this campaign we are doing in their respective zone. As at last year we were here, we had a walk around the Jabi Lake where people gathered and all these places to create this awareness. That's what the FCT chapter has been doing all this while. And people have been coming, people have been seeking help from them, and they've been getting this help. So don't feel, if you are a drug user, don't feel stigmatized. That's another thing.
That's a major problem.
People always feel that, oh, when I come, they feel that nobody shares your problem with another person. If you want to come in private, confidentiality is sure. Your confidentiality is guaranteed. That's number one ethics of counseling. So when you are meeting a counselor, you should be able to open up. Why was this the cause? Why do you think? Open up and you see that your help is on the way. You are on your way out of this drug. Drug abuse is not a death sentence.
It is not.
Drug trafficking is not a death sentence. You can come out of it. Definitely. As a person. The way you enter it, you can gradually come out of it. Don't feel that, oh, someone will judge you. No, we are not here to judge you.
We are here to help you.
We are here to help you. That is why the FCT chapter of Carson is here to create this awareness, to enable them, help you, and serve you better.
All right. I think I see the phone lines beeping. A couple of people might have questions for you or contributions, but this message says, good morning, everyone in the studio. I'm listening from Nasarawa State. Drug is destroying our youth. NDLEA has been doing a lot under Buba Marwa. I commend your guest for his work. Many youths do drugs because of peer pressure. This is Tekimbi Hundu from Nasarawa State. Thank you so much for that as well. Peer pressure, I don't think is something that everyone goes through peer pressure, either by drugs or maybe anything, whatever it is, people can go through. But are there numbers that you guys can roll out so that anyone who is willing to reach out to you can, maybe reach out to you?
Okay, you can reach me on 080 333 70779. That is Nimna, Councillor Nimna.
All right, so take it again.
080 333 70779.
080 333 70779. Yes, reach out to her on that number. Do you have any other number that you can roll out? So that or that will do.
I think that should.
All right. Do you have an office where they can visit? Peradventure people, would want to reconnect with you.
Yes, like we mentioned earlier, we have FCT, especially FCT Counseling Association, and FCT schools have established counseling units in schools. We also have a clinic. In Education Resource Center Zone 7. Then we also have counselors who are into private practice. When you reach me, we can always link you up to them.
Someone, you can always link them up to.
Yes, we can always link you up. Like he said earlier, we have a professional in different aspect of counseling. Like drugs, we have professionals too. Aside the clinic, the school, those who are into private practice, and they're always willing to help. They're always willing.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. And thank you to everyone out there listening. If you have been here, we have been talking about drug abuse, and in this commemoration of this year's World Drug Illicit Trafficking Day, the year's theme is "The difference is clear, invest in prevention." They say prevention is better than cure. So yes, try as much as possible to prevent it. What are some of the things quickly that you can tell us that can help help prevent this? We're talking aside counseling now. Yeah. What are the things, quick measures that you can take to prevent, getting swamped up in the abuse of drugs?
Okay, once you get yourself in an environment that is not your kind of environment, please always try to know your limits and get out of there. When you are among your peers, for the young persons, you're among your peers, please avoid some kind of conversation that will be daring. Yeah. Especially truth or dare. That is very dangerous. Please. It's daring. Someone will tell you, you are not man enough, you are not girl enough. Do this. Just take a drop. Just take a sip. Please avoid those kind of things, because that is how it starts. And when people give you open coke, open drinks that you are not sure of, it is better not to drink, because some of these drugs can be mixed with these drinks.
Can be spiked. Your drinks can even be spiked.
Exactly. All right. So when you leave, very important, if you leave an open drink somewhere, please, when you come back, it is advisable for your own good not to drink these drinks, because you don't know who the next person is. Yeah. It is better you invest in your prevention, and that is why we're telling you to invest now. You are important.
Trust is very expensive. Don't give it to just anybody. Exactly. Yeah.
Be assertive and say no when you are supposed to say no. When we talk of peer group, many a times our mind takes us to only our friends, even from the home, even your siblings. You don't eat anyhow. I recall an incident in a family where the boy was into drugs, and he cooked indomie with these drugs, and the sister came back and wanted to go and dish the food, and the boy was shouting and begging, please don't take that food, please don't take that food. So it's unfortunate that even in your house now you become scared of eating freely, but like you say, prevention is better than cure. So even within your environment, it could be cousins, it could be uncles, be careful of what you take into your system, and don't allow pressure to make you do things that you wouldn't want to do, because it's better you prevent than being looking for solutions to it. So let's be careful how we get ourselves involved.
All right. Thank you so much. And right, guys, these are representatives of Counseling Association of Nigeria, CASN FCT chapter. I have Councillor Unimna Ukaria. She is the chapter Unimna, not Unimna.
No,
Unimna Ukaria. Thank you so much for joining us here. And we have Councillor Ochui Augustine. Thank you so much for joining us here.
Thank you so much.
All right, people.
Thank you. Live healthy.
Yes.
Be assertive. Say no to drugs. Seek help where necessary. Don't be scared. Don't be stigmatized.
All right. Quickly call out the number one more time again.
080-333-70779.
All right. Thank you so much, people. Until next time.
Eagles 1, 2, 3 FM. Abuja, here to stay.